Eloquens, the leading digital marketplace where you can share, discover, and download best practices from around the world. Our authors have published smart models and frameworks in domains of finance, strategy, marketing, and so much more. In this series, we sit down with the authors who drive our platform forward.
Hello and welcome everyone. This is Rishi from Eloquens.com and you're tuned into the Eloquens author interview series. Today I'm joined by Craig Hatmaker, a seasoned IT executive, founder of Beyond Excel, and an expert in financial planning and analysis, or FP&A. We discuss his unique professional career and learn how Craig has pioneered table-based financial modeling and helped others find millions via analysis and automation. Hi Craig. Before we jump into the deep end of FP&A and the best practices you have on offer on your Eloquens channel, could you provide us with an insight into your career history and your professional experience?
My professional career spans more than 40 years in IT. My career started while I was still at university. I was studying for a baccalaureate in architecture and was introduced to 3D modeling on a Tektronix 4015 computer terminal, which at that time was state-of-the-art. That course opened my eyes to the future of interactive computing, which I recognized would play an ever-increasing role in my field, and indeed, in all fields. I filled my electives with computer courses, scraped together enough cash to buy an Apple II Plus computer, and started programming. One of my first applications cataloged dance music by BPM and Key, which I used to mix records when moonlighting as a club DJ. Billboard magazine published a small article about that application. That article was then read by the local Apple retailer who saw an opportunity to connect their customers who needed custom software with a local developer. And so started my solopreneur phase, writing applications for mortgage brokers, SMBs, and NGOs. When I graduated, I was making more money as a developer than I could in architecture. So I continued freelancing and DJing until I got married, whereupon I ended my not supportive married life DJ career and fled to the security of full-time employment. I started working for mid-sized businesses and later for large multinationals like Canon Incorporated. At Canon, I was educated in Total Quality Management, otherwise known as TQM. Those who completed Canon's TQM course were invited to participate in SGA competitions. SGA stands for Small Group Activities. Each small group included a cross-functional team who were challenged to find some process to improve, present the business case for the improvement, and if approved, lead the project to implement it. After implementation, we presented our results, and based on each team's results, a winner was selected and awarded things like a trip to corporate headquarters in Japan. SGAs formed my model for project-specific FP&A, for which my process is, first, identify problems. Quantify each problem's economic impact. Rank problems by economic impact using Pareto charts. Select the problem with the highest economic impact. Work with subject matter experts to discover root causes and chart them on Ishikawa diagrams. Quantify and rank each root cause's economic impact, again using Pareto charts. Select highest ranking root cause. Work with cross-functional teams to determine improvement strategies. Estimate each strategy's schedule, task, resources, and budgets. Perform cost-benefit analysis for each strategy. Rank by highest ROI estimate. Present most compelling ROI to upper management. If approved, recruit executive sponsor. Finalize project plan, budgets, and resources. Get commitment from each resource's management. Obtain funding. Work the project. Analyze results. And present to upper management. I took these skills to other large corporations where an executive team attributed to one of my projects $8 million in annual net revenue improvements and new customer acquisitions. These successes are probably the reason I was given the opportunity to join the ranks of corporate officers. I am now semi-retired, working as head of IT for our local government, and will retire in 2023.
Wow, a lot of highlights there and some very valuable experience to draw upon. What are some of the activities you're doing now at Beyond Excel, the company you formed?
Beyond Excel was created to help IT professionals integrate data with Excel from large corporate systems. Data acquisition is a first step in FP&A. Power Query opened data access to non-IT professionals, so Beyond Excel's mission evolved to helping non-IT professionals, such as FP&A departments, leverage Excel's features to greatest benefit.
You mentioned your career history and some of the tasks you're doing now. but what eventually drove you towards a career in FP&A?
To be technically correct, my career has always been in IT, not FP&A. I was placed into the FP&A role along with my IT duties because I was in the right place at the right time with the right skills. The time was when Excel first appeared in the late 1980s. The finance department recognized it as a time savings tool for calculating what-if scenarios, budget planning, mergers and acquisition analysis, etc. But accountants back then typically lacked skills to integrate data from our ERP, and as an IT professional, I had that skill. I also had financial knowledge from developing financial applications, a business perspective from when I was a solopreneur, analytical skills from my training at Canon, project management skills from my degree in architecture, and experience with Excel's predecessor, Multiplan. So they assigned the role to me.
Having worked in the field for some time now, how important would you say FP&A is for small businesses and businesses in general? What would you say the value is in employing FP&A experts such as yourself?
The FP&A function adds value far beyond their costs. While FP&A can be as mundane as creating forecasts, budgets, dashboards, etc., FP&A's real value is providing organizations with the foundation to make data-based decisions. FP&A has a unique view across departments, so it can find issues siloed department heads can't see. Unlike department heads, who typically battle day-to-day problems, FP&A is forward-looking, mapping out paths to avoid future problems. Additionally, many department heads lack FP&A skills to quantify economic opportunities necessary to gain support for change. And unlike the CEO, FP&A is the appropriate resource to narrowly focus on specific departmental opportunities. If the FP&A function also has someone with project management skills, FP&A is ideally positioned to lead cross-departmental change and implement solutions that best benefit the organization.
Understood. Moving on to your Eloquens channel a bit now, you have close to 300 downloads of your best practices. But what are some of the different types of content produced on your Eloquens channel?
I make available some of the tools I use. Some are specific to modeling, which include BXL format. This turns ugly spreadsheets into corporate-branded boardroom-ready models. We never get a second chance to make a first impression, so make sure our first impression is impressive. Okay, BXL TOC. This creates a table of contents that catalogs our models, worksheets, named ranges, tables, charts, etc. Each entry is hyperlinked, adding navigation to our models. It also provides a place for us to enter additional descriptions to each entry, which can be posted back to the object if desired, to better document each object in our model. BXL integrity checks. This adds career-saving error checking to our models. These checks find errors before our clients do. With it, we can add ratio and KPI alerts to inform clients when assumptions they enter produce undesirable results, saving their careers. Some of my Eloquens offerings are more general in nature, such as BXL Merge. This free tool simplifies merging Excel data with Word documents or overlaying Excel data onto pre-printed forms. In small U.S. businesses, it is used to print payroll data on W-2 tax forms. One client uses it to print new hire forms with the recruit's information pre-populated to reduce the time it takes new hires to fill out tax forms, benefit forms, property assignments, policy documents, and a whole lot more. BXL Org Chart. This tool creates hierarchical, and I have such a tough time saying that word, hierarchical charts from Excel data. It is often used to print organization charts from downloaded HR data. It is sometimes used to chart other hierarchical information, such as manufacturing bills of materials, known as BOMs, and application call chains for IT developers like I was once. BXL Tiny Database. This adds single-user database functionality to Excel. We probably have all seen the debates on whether Excel is a database or not. Well, as a database expert, I can say it is a database, but it lacks features that make it a useful database for most database applications. BXL Tiny Database adds a few of those features to Excel, such as table indexes, table parent-child relationships, referential integrity, and more. I have used it to create small, single-user applications that would otherwise require Microsoft access. Anyone with moderate Excel skills can create single-user database applications that are, in some cases, superior to Microsoft access. It can also be used to quickly prototype SQL Server or Oracle applications. BXL PQ Helper. This tool simplifies working with Power Query source files. I use it to import reusable queries and functions into models. BXL Dan. This free tool simplifies naming ranges for financial models and naming dynamic arrays for use with Power Query or Power Pivot. Lambdas. I have made my multidimensional modeling functions available free to anyone exploring this powerful approach to modeling systems where 3 or more characteristics interact. It is also useful as an example for learning about lambdas and dynamic arrays.
Fantastic. A wide range of tools there, covering a lot of topics within the field. In short, what would you say your main value proposition is?
Simply put, the tools I offer improve credibility and save time.
I guess that covers most of the content side for now, but as I'm sure many people would want to know when looking at your content in particular, who is your ideal customer? What does this customer struggle with, and what are the solutions that you provide?
My ideal customer is a moderately skilled Excel modeler looking to save time. They know time is money, and while that phrase is trite, it is also true. Delivering solutions in less time than competitors means we can command higher compensation for our time and still deliver at or below our competition's delivered cost. Delivering solutions to market quicker means our clients enjoy our solutions' benefits earlier, and that can give us a competitive advantage.
Okay, brilliant. And did you also have a wider target audience in mind? And if so, who is this target audience?
I'm retiring in 2023. In retirement, I will be expanding my content to help others see the value in Excel's advancements, like lambdas and dynamic arrays, and learn how to exploit them to best advantage. An example is my add-in BXLDAM, which is available free from Eloquens. That add-in makes using dynamic arrays easier. Dynamic arrays are an absolute game changer in modeling. Lambdas will be too. But very few modeling professionals know anything about them. I want to fix that.
I'm sure everyone will miss you in your retirement, and one of those reasons would be because of how unique your value is. On that note, what would you say differentiates your content from other FP&A experts?
My content at the moment includes add-ins. Add-ins require VBA and ribbon skills that most modelers do not have. My content also includes lambdas. I was the first to add lambda content to Eloquens, and as of the last time I checked, I'm the only one in that space. I'm encouraging other experts I know to add content, and I will be expanding mine soon.
Many people right now are probably aware of financial modeling, but I'm not sure as many are aware of FP&A. In your professional opinion, what are the main differences between FP&A and regular financial modeling?
That is a great question shared by many. In my humble opinion, the main difference is the A in FP&A. A stands for analytics. FP&A requires financial modeling skills, but it also requires data analytics. So let's first understand what I mean by financial modeling. CFI defines financial modeling as the process of combining historical and projected financial information to make business decisions. After many years of following the standards group, CFI, OPRIS, FAST, BPM, SMART, and others, and consistent with CFI's definition, I have concluded that financial modeling involves not just specific subject areas, but specific modeling styles, because one of financial modeling's guiding concepts is others, such as bankers and big accounting firms, must be able to read a financial model. Style and standards facilitate that. A model is a financial model if it is financial systems based, and by financial systems I mean general ledger and other supporting areas. It exclusively produces one or all of these statements: profit and loss, cash flow, balance sheet, and optionally financial ratios. The style follows timeline at the top going horizontal. It strays from financial modeling if it includes operational metrics, this becomes business modeling, or it includes data analytics, this becomes FP&A. FP&A is sometimes required to incorporate Excel features many financial modeling purists reject. This includes names, pivot tables and DAX, data model, Power Query, Power BI and M, dynamic arrays, and Lambda. So FP&A requires financial modeling skills as well as data analytics. And like financial modeling, FP&A mines financial data. But unlike financial modeling, FP&A mines operational data. This is important because one of my first modeling tasks was to project a sales increase of 5%. Had I stuck to financial modeling, I would have projected what everyone would expect, an increase in profits. But I included operational capacities, and that made my model forecast that a 5% increase in sales busted capacities in manufacturing lines and inventory storage, which required investments that turned profits into losses.
Brilliant. That definitely clears that question up with clear indications of what constitutes financial modeling and what leans more into FP&A. In terms of FP&A, what would you say your greatest strengths are related to this field? What skills do you think are necessary for success in the world of FP&A and I guess the world of financial modeling as well?
My thoughts align with what Indeed says are the most common skills listed in FP&A positions. Skills include accounting. FP&A professionals must have a firm grasp of GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting practices. They must also include financial modeling skills. FP&A professionals must be able to build the major financial statements in Excel based on actuals from their ERP and projections which are based on management assumptions. This includes things like budgets, short, mid, and long-range projections. Business networking skills. Much of what an FP&A professional relies on are insights from people in the business. They are the ones who see problems first, and they are the ones who best understand the causes. Thus, it is critical that FP&A professionals build relationships with a broad spectrum of people in the company. To build these relationships requires empathy, because as President Theodore Roosevelt is quoted as saying, "No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care." Caring builds trust, and trust opens people to honest exchanges. Microsoft Excel. When we mention financial modeling, we place it in the context of Microsoft Excel. Yes, there are other tools that can create financial models, but none are as ubiquitous as Microsoft Excel. If you know Excel, the potential market for you is wide. Power Query. We also mentioned that financial models in the FP&A context require data from ERPs. This includes operational data, supply chain data, human capital data, and more. Getting this data from ERPs used to require SQL skills, which, by and large, only IT had. Power Query eliminates reliance on IT and opens what we call ETL, which means extract, transform, and load, to anyone. Analysis skills. Analysis is the process of discovering useful information within the dataset. Datasets can be gathered from ERP databases, people in our business network, from the web, and benchmarks from third parties such as Gartner. There are many forms of analysis, with the most important, in my opinion, being root cause analysis and cost-to-benefit analysis. Root cause analysis starts with the Ishikawa diagram, also known as fishbone or herringbone diagram, which catalogs all things that contribute to a problem and how they relate to each other. Those causes are then ranked in operational and financial terms and charted using a Pareto diagram. Cost-benefit analysis builds the business case for making a change, whether that change is for new lines of business, expanding markets, or fixing problems. This requires understanding TCO, which is total cost of ownership, and project planning. Planning skills. So we just mentioned project planning. The project plan is necessary to identify all costs of a change. In the preliminary project plan, we identify tasks required to make the change, the order in which these tasks must be completed, the people who need to be assigned to complete the tasks, the time each task could take, and any investments required by the task. Without this information, our financial models are just poor estimates. Microsoft PowerPoint. Indeed lists PowerPoint as a required skill. I disagree. PowerPoint is static, which greatly restricts what can be conveyed. Instead, I recommend using another Microsoft product that Indeed also lists, Power BI. Power BI can be interactive, which means we can have more information than we think is needed, ready to drill into if asked. Power BI can be linked directly with data sources, making what we present timely. Power BI can also be made available to any device, anywhere on the planet. Communication skills. It is critical that insights revealed in models can be communicated concisely and clearly to non-financial professionals, because C-level executives are made up of sales and marketing professionals, human resource professionals, operations professionals, and so on. Boiling down a 50-page model into a soundbite easily understood by this varied audience requires skill.
Okay, so you recommend a mix of technical, analytical, and also business communication skills for success in the field. I guess this provides the best foundation to also improve upon later in life. For yourself, what other best practices are you looking to publish in the future, and who will this content be published for?
I will be releasing BXL Scenario Manager soon. It can be applied to any model, even those with no scenario features. It produces 3 well-known scenario types: discrete scenarios, sensitivity analysis, and Monte Carlo simulations. It introduces a new scenario type based on my work in multidimensional modeling. It will be known as combo analysis because it creates all possible combinations of all inputs and input values into one analysis set, which can be filtered, sorted, and graphed. I find this extremely useful for RFP comparisons.
I know you previously mentioned retirement, but did you have a long-term vision planned for your Eloquens channel?
My long-term vision is to hand off my channel to someone else and then travel to see my son in LA, my daughter in Maine, my other daughter in the UK, my aunt in Nice, France, former co-workers in Japan, and my Excel friends in London.
And finally, before we go, what is your opinion on the future of financial planning and analysis?
FP&A is growing. I'd encourage my friends in financial modeling to search job boards like Indeed for FP&A postings and compare the salaries. If they look attractive, considering data analytics to your skill set. And be encouraged that learning data analytics is no more daunting than learning accounting. I'd encourage my virtual CFO friends to consider adding virtual FP&A to your offering if you haven't already. I believe leading modelers will be using dynamic arrays by the end of 2023 and lambdas within 5 years.
Thank you once again for joining us today, Craig, and sharing your extensive knowledge and insight into the world of FP&A. And thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you've all learned something today. I know I certainly have. And we'll see you next time with a new expert in the Eloquens author interview series. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you once again for tuning in. To stay up to date with the Eloquens author interview series, click the subscribe button below, and for more episodes like this one, view the full series on our YouTube channel. For more information on how to become a registered author and start boosting your yearly revenue, visit eloquens.com or contact our team at elise.white@eloquens.com. Remember, don't reinvent the wheel.